Ever heard someone say, "You're babbling like an idiot"? It means talking endlessly, but saying nothing, a bunch of words without clarity, and noise without any meaning. It's like trying to learn advanced math or English from the Minions, or walking out of a 3-hour conference feeling more lost and confused than when you walked in. But have you ever wondered where that phrase came from and the deeper meaning behind it? Let's explore.
Hi, do you like this content? Please like, subscribe, and comment below. We'd love to hear from you. Now back to the story.
Let's go back thousands of years. After the flood, God blessed Noah and his sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth, and gave them a clear command in Genesis 9:1. Be fruitful, multiply, fill the earth, and they did, at least they started to. Generations were born, families grew, humanity expanded, but at that time the whole world shared one language and one common speech. As people journeyed eastward, they settled in a fertile plain called Shinar, ancient southern Mesopotamia, in what is now modern-day Iraq. And there, something shifted. They said,
"Come, let us make bricks and build ourselves a city, with a tower that reaches to the heavens, so that we may make a name for ourselves."
Did you notice the focus? Not "let us glorify God," not "let us obey his command to fill the earth," but "let us make a name for ourselves." So, in a land with little stone but plenty of clay, they engineered bricks. They innovated. They organized. They built, but this wasn't just architecture. It was selfish ambition to showcase their intelligence and achievements. It was humanity united in pride and worship to themselves, not to God. The cycle of rebellion against God was starting again. This is the first great picture of organized self-reliance and organized religion. Religion, at its most basic definition, is man trying to reach God. But this tower wasn't about reaching God humbly. It was about replacing him. That's what happens when pride seeps in. We reject God and start worshiping the created instead of the Creator. And God saw it.
If, as one people speaking the same language, they have begun to do this, nothing they plan will be impossible for them.
So, he stepped in, God said.
Come, let us go down and confuse their language.
Suddenly, words became noise. Chaos erupted as everyone was talking but no one was understanding. And without clear communication, work on the tower and the great city stopped. The city was called Babel, meaning confusion, because there the Lord confused the language of the whole world. And that's where we get the idea of babbling. And this is exactly how a babbling idiot leaves you, confused. But did God step in because he was intimidated by humans? Not at all. Watch until the end to find out why. But the story doesn't end in confusion. God scattered the people across the earth, exactly what he had commanded from the beginning. And in Genesis 10, often called the Table of Nations, we see the record of that dispersion, the spreading of humanity and the development of various ethnic groups through the descendants of Shem, Ham, and Japheth. Identifying these groups on modern maps remains a challenge, as millennia of migration, linguistic shifts, and intermarriage have altered racial and national identities. Some groups have evolved into modern civilizations, while others have vanished from history entirely. But here is what we know. From Japheth came the coastland peoples. They moved north and west into the Caucasus, Anatolia, the Mediterranean islands, and across Europe, regions that today include Ukraine, Turkey, Greece, southern Russia, and much of Eastern Europe trace their early roots to this line. From Ham came the great civilizations of Africa and the Levant. His descendants settled in Egypt, Ethiopia, Sudan, Libya, Canaan, and parts of Arabia. From this line came powerful cultures like the Egyptians, Nubians, Canaanites, and even Nimrod, founder of Babel, and later Nineveh. From Shem came the Semitic peoples. They settled in Mesopotamia, Assyria, Persia, Syria, and Arabia, much of the modern Middle East. And from Shem's line came Eber, then Abraham, then Isaac, then Jacob, and ultimately Jesus. The Tower of Babel is not just an ancient story in the Bible. It reflects what is happening in our modern world. Today we live in a time of instant communication and global networks. We are building higher, faster, and smarter than any generation before us. We've become intoxicated by the power of we, convinced that if we study more and we work harder, then we can rise to a place of status, intellect, self-reliance, and independence where we no longer need anyone, not even God, our Creator. It's a rat race designed by the devil to take us away from God. God stepped in at Babel because he is a father, and he saw his children being led astray. he saw a people so wrapped up in their pursuit of self-glory that they were on the verge of losing their souls to their own ambition. As Mark 8:36 asks, "What good is it for someone to gain the whole world, yet lose their soul?" God did not confuse them to hold them back. He confused them to set them back on the right track. Have you ever set your heart on doing something, only to encounter obstacle after obstacle each time you try? Sometimes those repeated roadblocks may be more than coincidence. They could be God's way of redirecting you, showing you that the path you've chosen isn't the one meant for you, or gently revealing that your motives need refining. In moments like these, the wisest response is not to push harder, but to pause, to humble ourselves before God, to quiet our hearts and truly listen for His guidance and instruction. As Proverbs 3:5-6 reminds us, "Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge Him, and He will direct your paths." When we commit our plans, dreams, and desires to God with the right motives, He will establish them. As Proverbs 16:3 assures us, "Commit to the Lord whatever you do, and He will establish your plans." There is nothing wrong with pursuing greatness, but when we pursue it without God, we risk losing the very thing that matters most. So let me ask you, are you chasing a name for yourself at the expense of your soul?